Hello, welcome to another video. I'm excited to get started with you on the first video of a brand new module. And as you can see, this module is about how to choose your target market and also your ideal properties. So if the big picture here is that our goal is to help you build a real estate investing business, to give you the step-by-step process of building that business. There's a really important reason that this topic is the first part we teach you within the X's and O's and the real nuts and bolts of real estate. And understanding your target market, where are you going to be buying properties, both in the big picture and also locally within your town. What part of the country, what part of your area. So you need to be able to choose the ideal market for your investing. And this is just a fundamental that when you do everything else, when you analyze deals, when you find deals, you've got to have a really good grasp on this. And also something that I didn't study as much early on, and I should have. There are certain property within the whole world of real estate investing. There are of course different types of properties, but there's even different types within the single-family house and the small residential world. There are better properties for what you're trying to do, and there are ones that are not as good. And we're going to talk about both of those. And I'm going to give you an introduction in today's video, and then we'll of course delve in and go into more detail. But if I had to start this topic, I would go to a sort of a maxim in business that the most important thing in business is your ideal customer. And so I've drawn our little ideal customer, and I'm such a good artist here, but there is a human being behind every business. That's just a really important thing to remember, and I try to constantly remind myself if I'm doing marketing, if I'm writing a sales letter, if I'm negotiating with somebody, it's all about the fact that there are human beings involved in decision making processes. And so we stay focused on that. And this is, as we're studying here, the fundamental of our business, rather than think about abstract objects like houses and country and all that, we need to think about that there's a person who in their mind is making a decision. And we can represent a whole market, so the market of people who are buying things. We can kind of boil that down and narrow it down to one person to simplify this and to understand what we're trying to do when we choose where to invest in real estate. And so we'll call our guy Tom here. So Tom is our target market. And so the three things we're going to be going over in this module, and the big topics are, number one, if Tom is given a choice of all the places in the United States, where is Tom going to move? What are the big, huge factors that are going on? Are people migrating from this part of the country to other parts of the country? Are they going west? Are they going into the middle of the country? Where are people going in general? Where would Tom, if he's kind of an average of a lot of different people, why would he go to certain parts of the country? Are there jobs here? Is the weather better here? And so that we need to think about those kind of criteria in the big picture of the entire country. And then once we hone in on an area, and it might be as simple as this is where I live, therefore this is where I'm going to invest, and that's fine. But we still want to understand within your area. So this might be your town or a zip code or something. Which parts of my town are the places where Tom wants to live? And why does he want to live there? There are certain criteria that affect somebody's decision to live on, over here in this part of town. Maybe there's a lake here. Maybe it's closer to his work. Maybe the husband and wife like to be close to schools here. Their kids are going to want to go to this school. So there are all sorts of factors within a town that determine why somebody's going to live there. And price is one of them, but there are the other factors that are more foundational. They actually determine the price, and that's what we want to study in both of these cases. And this is the part where we're talking about your market. So understanding your market in general. So the big picture, and then in your local market. Number two, once Tom decides, part of town he's going to live in, we have to. I got the numbers backwards here. So this is number two. Number two, within the market, there are lots of different types of properties. So is it just a basic house? Is it have a house with a backyard, and so he can have his dog living in the backyard, or his kids running in the backyard, not worrying about getting out? Or is he want to have a garage so he can work on his motorcycle? There are all sorts of factors about a particular house. And so we're going to build a profile of an ideal house. And very rarely have any of my investment properties met every one of the ideals. But you do need to understand that if I had an ideal location, if I had an ideal house, what would that look like? And remember, keeping in mind that this is Tom's ideal house. This is our typical customer. What kind of house do they want and why? What kind of market do they want and why? That's what we're going to be studying. And then finally, number 3, we're going to look at, with all these factors, how do you value this ideal property, or really any property? Because you start with an ideal house and you start with an ideal location, and how do you determine, number 1, what Tom would pay for the house? How is he going to buy it? Where is he going to get the money? And which factors is he willing to pay more for, and which factors is he not willing to pay more for? Or if one of these things is missing, how does that affect the value of our house? And we're going to give you some foundational parts of that understanding value, but also we're going to go into how do you actually study that? How do you go out in the market and determine what a value is, much like an appraiser would do or a realtor would do. Because really, when it comes down to it, you understand all this stuff so that you can make better investment decisions. And really, anything we do, real estate is all about these things. It's all about this decision that Tom makes. So if you want to make money, and if you remember my video on how do you make money, you provide a service, you add value to somebody. And so we need to understand Tom's decision better than Tom does himself. We need to understand what the big forces are and the big factors are that are affecting people and their decisions to buy houses. So that's our aim here in this module, to educate you in that area. And I think this is a really fun topic. It's something that even if you are just thinking about your own house where you live, this is something fun to understand and know more about. So I'll delve into each one of these more in the next few videos. So I look forward to having you join me there.